And I could be very angry at that. Instead, I could be like, well, I have time. I can sit here, I can read, I can do something, I can call, and I can connect with, my community. And then I can call someone, right? So I think not only by saying it to yourself internally, but also being vocal about it has helped me significantly. And then also I use, growth through adversity. And when I say growth through adversity, I mean, we all have a circle that we're comfortable with. We're always going to be there, and we're going to always gravitate toward it. With growth through adversity, I put myself into situations that I'm not comfortable. What I mean by that is I've done a couple public speaking. I don't think many people are very good at public speaking, or they have some sort of anxiety, prior or during. So I put myself in that situation. And I know that I'm growing from, right? I'm growing from this adversity, and I understand and identify that. So what that does is that gives me courage and confidence for when adversity does come along. I say, okay, well, hey, I've accomplished this. I've achieved this. I've overcome this adversity. So I can attach adversity to confidence, or confidence to adversity. And then lastly, I have a community is everything. I think community is everything in recovery. I have a strong community where I ask to be held accountable. And when I talk about accountability, a lot of people, I'll have, people hold me accountable. But what I like to do is I like to dive a little deeper. If I'm asking for you to hold me accountable, I'm going to ask and give you the parameters. I'm going to give you the why. I want you to hold me accountable. I'm going to give you the when. I want you to bring it up, and how I want you, right? Because being held accountable is not easy. And it's human nature to immediately get defensive. When someone's telling you, hey, you did this, or you did this wrong, but you told me to tell you, you're automatically going to get defensive. So if you give that individual, parameters of how, when, the 5 W's, it just sets that person up for success for when they hold you. And then secondly, ask to hold someone else accountable. That's difficult. That is very difficult to hold someone else accountable. So when you're in that situation, you learn and you grow from that. So then when you can ask to be held accountable, you can tell someone, hey, I know it's difficult, but this is the reason why I want you.
In terms of accountability, yes. And also it goes with, in terms of, let's say you spoke about relapsing, and for example, let's say you relapsed because you relapsed in a way that something that you could have avoided, but you decided to take this decision. But with the thing of having that community, having that person that will hold you accountable, it really eliminates that thing of doing things that you're not supposed to do. And I love the fact that you mentioned community, because when we go through something, we shouldn't do life alone. We shouldn't. When it comes to mental health, it has a lot of effects in us, and we have these thoughts of believing that we are alone, no one cares about us. But when you have community, you will have that thing of, no, I'm going through this, let me try to consult with this person. Probably they will help me in some way. So I really love how you mentioned community. And I want to speak about Treehouse Recovery, and how has it helped you through your recovery?
Yeah, so a multitude of things. So Treehouse Recovery is a unique program. They do a very different approach to recovery. When I say very different, it's backed by science, but it's not a typical 12-step AA program. And although AA, NA has helped millions of individuals, I firmly believe that our society is changing. Our society is becoming more active, and our recovery has to, or these treatment facilities has to adopt to, and Treehouse has. So we focus on physical fitness, healing the brain. So when I say physical fitness, healing the brain, our program is very physical. We are active Monday through Friday. We work out, participate in team events. So a couple things happen when you work out. You release the brain-derived nootropic factors, right? The dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, right? Those are the same chemicals that are released during when you work out are the same chemicals released when you drink or when you use. So what we're doing is we're changing our pathways of our brain when we work out, and showing these individuals that there's other ways to get this dopamine that we've oftentimes, needed during our addiction. And then right after that, our brain, our dopamine is high. Our levels are high. We go into addiction education. So we prime the brain with working out. We get the release of the needed chemicals. And then right after that, we start addiction education, where we learn the stages of relapse, the tools, the knowledge that I spoke of, the perception shifting, the growth of adversity, the accountability, setting boundaries. That's a big one. All those you learn right after you get a dopamine release. So that's a methodology with our modalities that it has significantly helped many individuals. And then also we place a high importance on community, right? Is you're not working out alone. You're working out in a group. You live, with a group of individuals. You learn with the same group of individuals. You eat with them. So you're establishing this very large sense of community, because that's human nature. Human nature is to build bonds and relationships, and we thrive. So those are the things. And lastly, our facility is about a mile from where the clients live. So our clients have to bike to and from the facility. And why I say this is important is, if you are in an isolated environment during treatment, and then you graduate that program, and then now you're driving back in the same streets that you used to when you were in addiction, and you pass a liquor store, you pass a drug dealer. So those cravings that you are going to get, if you don't have the discipline, or you don't have the determination or the skills to reach out to someone, oftentimes that can be very detrimental. So what our clients are able to experience is those times when they have to drive or ride past a liquor store. They're doing it with another individual in the program. So we have accountability partners, but we're able to experience that while in treatment and not get that cultural shock when we get back and all alone. So those are some of the highlights of Treehouse Recovery. But for the reasons that I've changed my lifestyle is because of the knowledge that they taught me. I now know, what's in the stages of relapse, my limbic system or my prefrontal cortex, what's taking control, what's not. Hey, let's be cognizant of being in a limbic state, the fight or flight, compared to the prefrontal cortex and the reasoning behind it. So, like I said earlier, of us, individuals always wanting to know the why, they provided that for me. So now when I'm in a state of, anxiety or stress, I know what's going on in my brain, and I know how to adapt and cope with that, instead of utilize the unhealthy ways I was using in the past.
It's a great approach in terms of, as said, that having an accountability partner within the system, and allowing to overcome that thing of that urge of going to that liquor shop, going to that drug house, in terms of that, and avoidance of relapse. And I like the fact that after exercising, there is this thing of learning about different types of addiction and different levels of relapse. It's a very fascinating approach when it comes to addiction, and it is, I would say, it is my favorite. It's first that I've heard it, and probably the audience out there intrigued about how it is made, and also in terms of your story, in terms of working through your addiction, and not having that, I would say, that story of you just overcame your addiction. You tried to overcome your addiction, and you lost, and you didn't just sit down and told yourself that, no, my addiction won, but you kept on fighting until you found the purpose, you found it. And I believe that through purpose, that's where we truly find healing. Before we wrap up, what advice would you give to listeners who might be facing similar mental health challenges? How can they take that first step towards healing?
Yeah, first and foremost, know you're not alone, right? There are individuals out there that have struggled. They may not have been going through or have gone through the exact same thing that you have. However, they've probably gone through something very similar. So you are not alone in that aspect, in the fights. Secondly is addiction is beatable. There are ways that you can change your lifestyle around and resources out there for you to be able to change. A lot of times individuals feel like this is the only thing I can do. I can't get out of it. Yes, you can. There are resources out there. And then lastly, and most importantly, is ask for help. And although that may seem extremely difficult for you, ask for help. Do your own research. Find the resources out there that you feel that would be best fit for you, and then seek those ones. No one knows what's best for you better than you. So do some research, look up different ways that you can combat this addiction, and then ask for help, get it. And then that's when the work starts. After you're done with treatment, that's when the work starts. That's when it becomes difficult, because you are learning a new life. You're changing all your unhealthy habits into new, healthier habits. And it is difficult. It is going to be a challenge. But what I always say this to the new clients is, regardless of whether financial concerns, family, relationships, if we were going to get our drug or our drink, we were going to make it happen. Addicts, alcoholics, anyone who suffers from substance abuse, make it happen. So all you have to do, you have the motivation, you have the determination. All you have to do is now use that towards one of your goals to change your life, because we have that. That is something that us who suffer from this disease have that not a lot of people have. We've just turned to unhealthy behaviors. We change it around. Our potential is priceless, and it's extremely powerful when we harness it in a positive.